What is going on? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to see you guys here as we get ready to fire up the lovely Flight Factor A320. It's been a minute since we've been on the Asia Pacific tour, so it's good to be back over here in Shanghai. We're going to continue our tour up to over to Wuhan. Why is my sim so loud? Let me turn it down a little bit. Can't hear myself think. So I hope you guys are ready to get this going on here. We also have something very special. You may have already noticed already between the hype and now, but the engines, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Carda's Ren engine mods. He is indeed working on the CFM engine variant as I get cut off here by the catering truck. But yes, the CFM engine variant is coming. It's not quite released yet, but it's going to be compatible with the Flight Factor, obviously, and of course your other Airbuses. So it's going to be it's special juice, and I'm going to show you some things on it, and then of course there's some different models he's working on, which we'll talk about in stream as well. So it's a little dark right now because it's early morning. I want the sun to come up so you can kind of see the full effects of the engines and stuff like that, the PBR and everything. And this is an early progress. I think he has a beta update he's going to send me later on this week as he continues to work on the engines. But I'm very excited for him. You guys know I'm an IAE fan, but if I got to fly CFM engines, definitely want to be flying Carda's CFM motors. And in fact, if we go to this view right here, oops, not that one, this one, just take a look at that. Take a look at that detail. I like this little nav light reflection on the truck. I think that's pretty cool. But we're completely dark right now. The sun should be coming up in about 20 minutes, so I think by the time we take off, it's going to be pretty sweet. Good to see everybody here in chat. Christian, what's going on, man? Benny, Andrew Holman, good to see you. Captain Gio, what's up, dude? Good to see you, sir. D Bardi, good to see you. Slam Cannon Max Rank. Krishna, good to see you. Fuzzy Condor, Robin H, Rusty C, Max Rank, Aviator Trap, Scott Rashley. Good to see everybody in chat here. Good to see you guys. I haven't been able to stream too much lately. I've been pretty busy with a lot of stuff going on at the house out here, and then just a lot of stuff going on with work and all that. So it's good to take some time out of the day and get together with you guys here. Hope I got the scenery installed, Christian. So the scenery, I have Wuhan scenery, and we have, of course, the Shanghai city. But dude, when I try to fly the Flight Factor in the ZSPD or the airport scenery, it's literally no frame factor. I mean, I can't even, it's bad. Something for my system with the Flight Factor and this airport is just not happy together. I don't know what it is. So I actually pulled it back out. We're just running the default. It's also kind of why it's nighttime right now too, so we don't have to see the default airport as much. But the Shanghai city is absolutely stunning, especially in the lights in the early morning hours. So we'll see all that. It's not going to be too big of a deal. Nice livery, thanks. I love this livery too, man. This is a pretty sweet Air China livery with the flowers on it and everything like that. I like the tail, the logo on the tail. Just take a look at how beautiful that airplane is, huh? That is a beautiful looking airplane right there. Every time I get in the Flight Factor, I remember how nice and how clean that exterior model is. It just does look very sharp, very, very good. Can I explain the difference? Set the brakes on and off loudspeaker while we were testing the CVR. I'm not gonna go in too much on that. That kind of gets into aviation safety stuff. That would be something that you would need to worry about with your company SOPs. So I try to avoid topics like that where we have to kind of. I don't want to get too much into the aviation safety aspect of stuff, so I'm going to skip that question. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these guys because they're just too loud. Oh, it's just so much better without them out there. I know it's nice to see them drive up and everything, but it's good to just turn off that noise. Geo, 22-month membership. Dude, hope all is well. Bro, reach in DM. I got some for you. Geo, I will check it out, man. Thank you so much for your continued support. 22 months. That's awesome, dude. Glad to have you as a member of the channel. I will check out the DM here in just a minute, sir. Let me get the airplane aligning. Let's go ahead and do this. We're in a cold and dark airplane. I've got it sitting on kind of a weird state. Sometimes you'll see this in real life when you get to the aircraft and the batteries are off, everything's off, but it is still on ground power. Kind of a, I guess depending on your company, they may be allowed to do this or not, depending on how much money the external power is going to be charging the company to run it on. So kind of a weird setup here, but we're just going to go through our flow like we normally would. You got to make sure your battery voltages are still above 25.5, so they are. We'll go battery 1, battery 2. We're already on external power, so we don't have to worry about turning that on. Let's go ahead and do an APU fire test. That is good. We are rocking the CFM 56B engine sounds from BSS as well. So we don't need to put the APU on. We're running on external power. That looks good. Let's come down here to the lower ECAM. Let's take a look at our systems. I'm going to try the real-time fuel loading in this. I've never really messed around with it, so we're going to mess around with that today on the stream. I want to see how it goes. But right now, let's go ahead and check our engines. We do have oil. We want to check our hydraulics. That looks good. And, of course, pressurization page. That's not the one. Where am I looking? Door page. There we go. 1860. That looks good. Pull any failed cautions back up with a recall. Status normal. That is good. Parking brake is on for now. And no squawk. Perfect. Let's continue with our overhead flow. Crew supply can come on. Ground control can come on. CVR test. Press and hold. Boom. Hope I didn't get the Thai models payware for Wuhan. I don't know which one I have, man. Is that the one where it's Wuhan Pack 1 and Wuhan Pack 0? That's the one I have. That is good. We'll go 1, 2, and 3. Is Air China same as China Airlines? I don't believe so, Benny. And I thought so, but I was corrected. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of political situations in the region where certain airlines were allowed to fly certain places. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe someone in the chat would have that question for you. I'm not too familiar with that area. Off, let's go auto. We'll arm those. We'll keep our fuel tank pumps off for now. Conditioning looks fine. Let's do our engine fire test. And we'll do engine 2. Last flight I had, you guys may have saw me post on the Discord, the discharge light for the APU agent. See this discharge light there when I press it, that yellow discharge light? That was illuminated in the airplane. So they actually had to defer the whole APU because you can't use the APU even though it would be functional. And of course we swapped into that plane on the last leg of the trip. So you have to use the air cart, do the air cart start. We might do, we did an air cart in our last start. Why don't we do a crossbleed? Maybe we'll do a crossbleed start on this one today. We'll mix it up a little bit with our starts. We'll get back to that. Anyway, everything else looks good up there. Let's go ahead and get our cargo heats on. And that is out and on halfway on the volume. That looks good there. Come down here. We're going to initialize the box here. I do have the proper nav database. Thank you, Christian. It's the only paywars, and tail models are the worst money grab. I think probably it's the same one, Christian. Probably it's the same one. Yeah, it wasn't too awesome. Wasn't too awesome. All right, let's go ahead and load up this flight plan here. It's going to be a pretty lengthy flight plan. I don't really like it, but we're going to have to rock it here. Let me get, where's my active sky? Real quick here, let me pull this up. While I'm doing my active sky, let me put you guys over here on the engine so you can just enjoy. What the hell spawned on me? Really? You can still see that through his wing there. Let's see, we're going to go ZSPD. I got to get my active sky running. 33,000 meters. Gosh, meters again. All right, here we go. Briefing. Weather right now is Cavoke. Wind 080 at 2 meters per second, 1024. So 080. Let's see. So if the winds are 080, let's take a look here. It's been a while, so I haven't. Man, what's been 3 to 4 days since I've been on stream, so it's been a while. I feel disorganized here. It's been a while since we've continued up because we did that. I did an after dark stream for members only, and then we did the Veterans Day stream. So I feel like I got to get back in my Asia Pacific groove here. All right, we're gonna depart 17 right then, since we're right here, and the winds are 080. It's not a big deal. We'll just take off of 17 left on our flight plan. So let's go back to our charts. Who's that out there? Watania Airways. Really? Interesting. Darth, what's up, man? Member 8 month. Thank you so much, dude, for the subscription for 8 months. Really appreciate that. Listen to V1, he's a wealth of knowledge. Hey, we're going to try to do some knowledge today. We're going to mess around with the engine start. We'll talk a little bit about the crossbleed procedure, and maybe we'll even do a manual engine start, because we're in the CFM. We could do a manual too. All right, here we go. Let's figure this out. ZSPD over to Wuhan, China, a place no one knew about until 2 years ago or a year ago. Today we're operating as China Airlines 981 or Air China 981. Cost index will go 99. Cruise flight level is right about 31,000 feet. And temperature is, I did that here, +4, so it's actually -41. So we'll change that, make that a -41 right there. Carda says those are some good-looking engines. 27-month membership as well. Look at those captain bars. Carda, thank you so much, man, for the support. I'm loving these engines. They're not the A's yet, but I know you're working on them. We'll talk about that a little bit in cruise as well, especially when the sun comes up and you guys can really start to see these motors. It's next level. I mean, every time Carda puts out an engine, I'm like, how can it be any better? And then he puts out another one, and it's better than the last one he put out. So they're awesome, man. I'm super excited. What's our tropo? 52. Oh boy, that's way up there. Cool. All right, here we go with departure. A 17 left, and we'll go back here. Cold beer and a V1 stream. Great way to end a long day. Cheers from the UK, Alfie. Well, cheers to you, sir. Can't quite have the cold beverage. Alcoholic beverage, but I have a non-alcoholic beverage here. Cheers to you, man. Thank you for the 11-month membership. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Sit back, relax, enjoy our Flight Factor 320 flight over to Wuhan, China. All right, we're on the SAS 91, which I'm assuming is the same as the 81. SAS 11, SAS 8. Delta Sasan, that looks close enough. Can we even join an airway off of this? This is so foreign. R343, I don't think I've ever used the R suffix. How about Whiskey 581? East bag, perfect. And then Whiskey 546. I like seeing this work just like it should here. To SNQ, and then Whiskey 164. We're probably going to do some directs once we get airborne. Off of Orville. Well, I'm just verifying these transitions. Again, I've seen these transitions not line up in real life, so always want to make sure they are there. Victor 65. Wow, this is a lot of after Villid. Whiskey 50. This is a lot of airways. Ikuba, checks, Whiskey 50, and then that puts us to XSH. Insert. Check out that. This is the United 18. Yeah, we're using meters today, Tars. We're trying. What's the point of turning your phone into flight mode? Really, it doesn't do much unless you're, I guess, 5G now. It's actually proven to interfere with some signals on the airplane, most specifically the RA or the rad alt. But the reason you put your phone in airplane mode is so everybody can pay attention to evacuation instructions on the runway. That's basically the main reason. All right. XSH09 Alpha. Now, this is one we got to look up here. Airports. This is what I wanted to do before the stream, and I forgot to double check this. Y'all get any more than milestones? Christian, thanks, man. 17 months. That's awesome that you guys can do that. The little membership chat to show you how long you've been a member. That's cool. 17 months, man. That's crazy. We've all been together a long time. Time flies. Time flies. All right, 10-9. And this is parking stands. I don't care about that. So going into Wuhan today, they've got parallel runways 22. Active sky says to expect winds are going to be out of the north at 1, so barely any. So we can do 4. Let's do 4 right. Now I think there was some interesting rivals. We were on the XSH09 Alpha. And let's just plan. Wow. ILS 4 left Yankee. There's the 09 Alpha arrival. So here is our 4 transition. So what's actually, we're going to come from this way. So we'll do 4 right. We'll do the ILS 4 right. And then what's the whiskey approach? That sounds interesting. Let's go back. Approach. ILS 224 left. Special authorization RNP ILS DME Zulu 4 left. That's a mouthful. Cat 2 RNP. Here we go. Special authorization. Cat 1, Cat 2 RNP ILS Zulu 4 right. That sounds fun. What does that look like? Ah, that's pretty lame. It's just a TAA arrival. Nothing too cool about that one. I was wondering if they had any cool ILS DME X-ray. That's probably just straight in. ILS DME Whiskey. We'll just load up this one and then go from there. ILS 4 right Whiskey, and we are on the Exosha 09 Alpha. Okay, approach via. Do we want to load? Can we do DHP? Which one is this? DHP 29. Yep, that's that one right there. Wow. Insert. I think we loaded it up. What a flight plan that was. That is truly different. All right, we're going to make some directs when we get flying, that's for sure. All right. That looks good to me. Our flight plan is in the box. Wow. Secondary, let's do a quick Z-Sped to Z-Sped. This is why it's nice to have an FO. He just comes in here, starts plugging away. I can be looking at the logbook, doing other things, and then just verify. But we'll go ahead and just do all of it here. If we're taking off 17 left, if we got to come back around, let's just come right back around. 17 left Zulu. Secondary perf. Let's come in here. What did I say it was? I think it's about 1026 here. 1026 on the QNH. Temperature off the ECAN is 13 degrees. It was really hazy this morning. I looked at the real weather out here, and the haze was really bad. I think they were less than a mile at one point. All right, so that's good. The secondary, RadNav, nothing to hard tune. A NIT B, this is where we're going to get our 0 fuel weight and stuff. So I wanted to try this real-time fueling. Have you guys messed with this? So let's go ahead and power this on. And we need... I forget, it was in pounds. We need... Oh. Donation. Mr. Sweez, thank you so much for the $10 donor. He says, thanks for the info about the phone. My daughter wanted to know. Yeah, man, absolutely. So, you know, back in the day, I think there was some assumptions that, you know, as you come across the runway, say 50 feet on landing, and everybody gets service at the same time, everybody gets a text or a call, and then the RA might go off. But that never really was the case. And on that personal level, I have never once experienced interference in the aircraft with cellular signals. Now, like I said, though, it is more of a safety thing. If you have everybody on their phone during takeoff and landing, that's most likely a time that there's going to be some type of incident, or more specifically an evacuation, right? Even if it's a not super serious, but maybe you have a bird strike or something and you have a fire and you got to evac on the runway, that's going to be, you know, you want everybody paying attention. So that's kind of, you know, no one needs to be on the phone. You might miss phone calls, or people would tend to panic. So that's kind of where that stems from. But now there is actual information that the 5G signals can have some slight interference with the rad out on approach. So that's what I know about it, and that's kind of my experience on it. But thanks again for your support, man. I appreciate it. All right, we've got to do a quick pounds to kilos transition here. We need 13,000 kilos to pounds, which is going, or I'm sorry, 13,000 pounds to kilos. is about 5.9. So if I pre-select, how do I do this? I've never messed with this. This is kind of cool. Let's see. We're going to go 5.9 on the fuel. I've never done the real-time fueling in the Flight Factor. This would be something cool to see implemented in other airplanes too. Maybe the Togas down the line. 4.7. I know the Zebo has it, which is pretty cool. Let's go 5.9. Oh, 6, that's fine. And now do I hit on? And then let's take a look at our ECAM, see if we are, it says refueling 720, 740. Hey, we're taking on fuel. Check it out. So now we can properly fuel. That's really cool. I like that. All right, that's good. We're aligned. Let's go constraint mode on. Let's pull up our active sky one more time. The current 1024 is the QNH. We got that set. 1024 set twice. And one more time down here. Let's go get VOR mode on. All right. Things are coming together slowly but surely, guys. Slowly but surely. So our fuel's coming on. Let's talk about passengers. Let's take a full. Let's take 2/3. Actually, you know what? Well, let's do a medium load. Let's do a two-thirds load. We'll go ahead and set that. Cargo. Let's go ahead and call the loaders up. And let's go ahead and set about 4,000 pounds of cargo. Cool. And that's good. We are getting fueled right now. So we can stand by and everything else. We'll leave our fuel pumps off because we're waiting on fuel. We'll leave the APU off. And we're just about ready to start briefing. Ooh, the sun is just coming up now. Wojtek, what's up, man? Best instructor in the community. Thanks, man. 27 months. That is a year, 2 years and 3 months. Wow, Wojtek, thanks again for the continued support. That is awesome. Awesome, man. He says that I'm the best instructor. I don't know about the best instructor in the community, man, but I sure do and love teaching you guys. I'm glad you guys are so receptive to the content. You guys have been receptive from day one to 2.5 years later. So you guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you again for the support. I appreciate it. I'm giving you your flight plan whirl. I normally use Lido. Where is the PAX count info? Max, I don't typically use the passenger count from SimBrief, but here would be, I think, some of your information. You want your zero fuel weight, right? So I guess you would just set it like this. I don't even know. Does it even show you how many passengers are on board? Let's see. Surely it would have to, right? I've never once used like a pass. I just kind of show my own. I just do whatever I want to do for the weight, but I guess I don't know. Maybe in the main briefing area it would tell you. This is to file. Let's see if it's towards the end. No, that's all weather and stuff. Or you know what? It could be at the very front. Let me scroll back. Before the winds. Release ID. You know what? I don't even know where it shows that. Maybe it doesn't show it. Max, if you find it, let me know. I'd be curious. I have never used SimBrief for passenger information. I just always do kind of what I want. I just throw on whatever I want to throw on there. Look at these engines, though. Look at the spinner just starting to show up there. Carda, juice. It doesn't work, fueling. It just doesn't defuel. Oh, it does work. It just doesn't defuel. Awesome. What does the little delta sign mean? Means next to DE17 left. That would be like DME, with distance measuring equipment. Look at the sun starting to come up out here. Beautiful. All right, we're 2.8 on the fuel. We're waiting on that. I guess we can start closing up some other doors, though. Let's go ahead and start closing up the passenger doors. We'll leave that front one on. Let me get my sound 3D. I had the people off. I guess I'll turn it up to like 25. We'll leave that main door open. We'll go ahead and pull the belt loaders. Love hearing that. Jeremy, what's up, man? He says that pounds to kilo conversion for refueling made me think of the Gimli glider. Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened. A fueling error, the conversion made a 767 turn into a glider, man. Pretty crazy stuff. What was really unfortunate about that one, Jeremy, is the conversion that they messed up is even though they put in the amount in the computer, it's still the way they messed up the conversion. There was no fail safe, you know. Like if they failed to convert it the other way around, that's why if you just use pounds, you're never going to have an issue. But yeah, that's a good one. Michael K, what's up? Thanks for the $5 Bob. I says, big fan. Thank you, sir. Do you take any AP classes in high school? Oh man, AP classes in high school. I had an AP. It's math. What is it? That's not math. There's another, like, is it calculus? And then I dropped it because I didn't need it, and the teacher wanted to fail me anyway. But yeah, I think I told that story on here where she said she made me stand up when I told her I didn't need the class for the credits or whatever. I was already into the school I was going to, and she basically said, well, you're never going to be a pilot if you drop my class. And I said, okay, we'll see. And I just walked out, and that was it. Then here I am. So joke's on her. But I didn't take any AP classes in high school. I didn't need the credits where I wanted to go. But of course, depending on, where you're going to be going, it's definitely a good option. But I was never the sharpest student. I was mostly a B. I had some A's. I was mostly a B student. My sister was all A's and AP for sure, though. Man, look at the detail right here. Now we're really starting to see the detail, Carda. All right, we're just about done on the fuel, 4.2. How's our cabin temps doing? We're just fine. Let me do our zero fuel weight. Does this change with the fuel that we get? I'm curious. I wonder if it's actively changing. I guess I'll just wait to do the init B page until we do have our fuel on board. Put that in the flight plan page. I guess we'll review the departure real quick. Z-sped. Go back, departure. What did I say we were on? The SAS 91 Delta, which is right here, 91 Delta. That's Karma. Yeah, I hear you, man. Ironic name, too, huh? All right, here's our departure procedure off 17. It looks like it's not authorized. Interesting. Why is it not authorized for 17? Let me get rid of the Wuhan charts. We don't need that. Oh, maybe I picked the wrong one. No? It's the SAS 91. But I loaded, what, the SAS 81 for southbound? Maybe that's what it is. There it is. Okay, so here we go. Off southbound 168, right turn. Max 250. Now I think, check this out. Since Airbus is so awesome, we're going to go metric altitude. Does it not work? How do I know if I'm in meters or not? Let's see. There we go. So there's our meters. So that's cool. So let's do this the way it should be. Our top altitude is going to be off of 17 left and right, 39, 88, 60, 88, 60. So wow, 88. 8870 is close enough. 29.1. That's cool. You can see our meter conversion here. This is so wild flying like this. All right, but that's set up. We got our fuel on board now. That looks good. Let's go get our pumps online. Let's fire up the APU. We'll go seatbelts on. That's armed. And we'll go ahead and start the APU. Make sure to show off down the back of the cowling before engine start. Ooh. You got it. I'm going to wait for a little bit of light. Just a little bit of light. A little more light, Carda. I'll push back. Once we push back, we'll take a full tour, and then we'll spin them up. For those that are fans of the CFM, I know I'm a huge IAE fan. Look at this, guys. I'm going to just zoom all the way in. I mean, tell me that does not look like a real engine. And the Flight Factor engines are not that bad. The default ones, I will admit, they're actually not bad for default engines. But then when you put these on, you're like, wow, now I can see all the detail. And there's a lot more detail that we're going to get into as well. But these are also going to be compatible for the Toga 319 and 321, which will be pretty sweet. We'll be fully set with Carda realistic engine mods. God, that just looks so good, dude. Right here, look at this. Look at this little detail right there. Carda. The charts are in feet. Yeah, they're in feet. The charts are in feet. That's why they're so weird, right? Oh, 8860, you're right. This is so ridiculous. 3,300 meters is 10.8. Transition out to 8860. But we need to go to 8860 feet. What? We don't have ATC online, so let's just go to our cruise altitude. How about that? We're going to go to our cruise altitude, because there's no ATC. 33, I believe, right? What did I set? 31. We're going to go straight to our cruise altitude. It'll climb via once we're done. All right, so he's done with the refuel. Let's go ahead and pull that. Let's go perf data. We're set there, so now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go init B, weight request, 52.9, 20.8. Block fuel on board is 5.9, which we have. 20.8, 52. Does that match? Yes, it does. CG 21.6. That doesn't quite. Oh, zero fuel weight CG is 20.8. Yes, it does. We're matched up. We're looking good. We got 35 minutes extra gas. We're doing a flaps one. Flex, I've never heard of her. We're going full Toga, and we'll do a 122. V1 is set. Our speeds are set. Let's start closing it up then. APU is on. APU bleed can come online. Pull the chocks. Pull the GPU. So with the metric altitude button, you can put meters in the FCU window. Not in the FCU window, Jeremy, but you'll see your meters on your PFD. So you would actually put your meters here. So climb and maintain 5,000 meters or whatever. You'd scroll it until this said 5,000 meters here. This will always stay in feet. Same with the actual FCU altitude will always be in feet. But the meters are going to be shown on your PFD. Now, why do we have a funky altitude capture going on? Let's go ahead and clear those out. Recycle. There we go. I want to make sure you see the climb nav here. You don't want to see that out star. Sometimes that happens. If you have this set at 0, you'll get a green altitude here at the gate. You don't want that. Will mess up your takeoff mode. All right, everything else is ready to go. Let's go ahead and turn on our beacon light.
Thank you for your attention.
All right, let's go ahead and get a pushback going. Man, it felt like it took forever at the gate.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
We're going to go to 17, so push me straight back at a 90. Right there.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Dreamless. So, it's actually pretty sad. The airport scenery works fine, and even with the INI A300, it works great. But when I load up the Flight Factor and this ZSPD airport, my frames just go to not. Like, it's awful. I don't know why. It's only in the Flight Factor and this specific airport. So something wasn't jiving. I just pulled it again real quick. Kind of sucks. It was like 20, 25 bucks or whatever. I haven't even flown it. I haven't even been able to use the scenery. But we still have the Shanghai Ultimate City scenery, which is going to look really nice here on departure. My overlay says 738. Oh, well. Thanks, Anderson. I'm going to see if I can fix that real quick here. I forgot to take care of that before the stream started.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Maybe that'll fix it. There we go. I think that got it, right? Let me know. Thanks, Anderson. All right, let's take a little Carda engine tour, shall we? Oh, I forgot to get out of the window while I could. Actually, I think I know how to... Watch your ears. I won't let me out.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Houston, we have a problem. There we go. My view was stuck. All right, here we go. Windows, doors, slides, closed arm, beacon on, thrust levers idle, park brake is on for now. 4-star checks complete. Transponder, we do need to set 2,000 over here. On for VATSIM purposes, so we'll put that into above. TARA. All right, cockpit to ground, brakes release, clear to push.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Evacuation, escape path lighting will appear. Follow the lights until you've reached your exit. Leave all carry-ons behind. Just text.
Can I send the mod link? Mod link is not available yet. This is just a work-in-progress rendition of the engine. So once they are released, you will, trust me, if you're just subscribe to the channel, just pay attention to the channel. I will be flying the released variant as soon as they are available. Yes, it is, Aviation Nick. Yes, it is.
Normal breathing will start the flow of oxygen. And remember to always put your own mask on first before helping others.
God, that spinner.
Located either under or next to your seat.
As soon as the airplane stops, we'll do a detailed walk around view.
For help locating them, see your safety card.
I'm an IE fan, but man, if I gotta fly the CFMs, these are the ones to fly.
Put the vest over your head.
Mr. Martini, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome aboard. Look at that PBR work here on this little chrome, not even chrome, what is that, like a metal brushed aluminum look? Decently light, should be a rocket. It should be slammed.
As always, we're here to make your flight great. Because great is what we're going for.
Because great is what we're going for. So this is the regular BSS pack, you know, before he started releasing the Pro line version and stuff. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. I'm just not sure. I don't know. I guess I'd have to have some more listens to see what the differences really are. I know there was some discussion in the Discord about the BSS pack, you know, splitting up the packs to a Pro pack versus a standard pack. Oh, look at that right there. What's up, Ranger Rick? I was in O'Hare and ATC was sending clearance electronically. What do you need What do you need for this next plane? You know, Ranger Rick, they send it electronically on VATSIM. They send you a message, so that's kind of. I feel like that's kind of a PDC type of thing. Now, some airplanes actually have full-blown PDC. The A310 has it. FS Labs has it for P3D. And I believe the Zibo has it. But you have to have a VATSIM-compatible controller doing CPDLC. So, and I think that's only in Europe right now. These engines look better than real life, I agree. Just put the Carda engines on the 7.6. Yes, that's one. You know, I never did fly. I need to fly the 7.5 with Carda's engines because he got them for the 7.5 too, which is absolutely awesome.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
All right. Well, he's disconnecting. Let's go outside. Let's take a quick look at these engines here. Actually, he's awfully loud. Let's wait for him to clear. So you want me to go down the back of the engine, Carda? We can do it. Look at the light right between the stator vanes. You could see through the engine. That is awesome.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Carda. Look at these. Look at the texturing right here. Look at this. Are you kidding me? There's the detail around here, man. So nice, dude. So nice. And my ears are kind of ringing, but all right, let's do our start. Yeah, we're gonna do a crossbleed after we start engine 1. Should we do a manual engine start? I forget how to do that. I haven't even tried it on this one here. We'll do a normal start and then we'll do a crossbleed. How's that? PSI is up. Turning 1. Here we go. Animation time. CFM starts so quick. Oh. Look at the smooth blade transition. Did y'all see that? Oh my gosh. Carda, man. That is freaking... That is just nice. Alright, we're going to taxi out single engine, and then we'll do a crossbleed short of 1.7 left. Because I want to taxi out one engine with Carda zooms. I want to see that one engine sitting still there. All right, so we got a good start on engine 1. We'll go back to normal here. We'll go ahead and arm U. Let's go ahead and go to this view and pop out slats. Actually, let's move down here. Let's zoom right in on this leading edge. We'll go flaps position 1. Love it. Absolutely love it. Alright, that's good. Flaps 1. We'll go ahead and kill the APU. We'll go ahead and turn that off. We'll get the yellow electric pump online. We don't need the dome light. We'll kill that. What is our trim? I forgot to set our trim for takeoff is up. 1.5 is set. Swarm! What's up, man? 27 months? 27 months! Wow, that might be it might be a record here in the stream for now. 27 months. Thank you so much for the support, man. That's awesome. Engines are juicy with the salute. Absolutely. Oh, we missed the salute. I missed the salute. The tug driver already drove off. So we'll go ahead and give him, if you're a member, give him the Kawadi Monday salute. Down there, we're good to go. Brakes release. Taxi light can come on. Love hearing that PTU. I want to do this. We're going to do a cinematic drive-by with Carda engines. Watch your ears. Jump on right here. Here we go. see that reflection? Wow, I'm bleeding from the ears. Are you guys bleeding from the ears? Because my ears are pretty much dead after that. All right, let's get to where we're going here. You don't need to open the crossbleed for this one, man. No crossbleed necessary. It's in auto. Stunning engine sounds deserve a like for sure. Hit the like button. Oh yeah, freshly sanitized for your pleasure. Thank you, Miss Jungles. Gentlemen, Miss Jungles has sanitized the like button for y'all. Thanks again for the reminder. Do hit that like button for those engine sounds and for that frickin' engine mod. I mean, it's too good, man. That little orange reflection we had there was sweet. All right, we're gonna make a left at Bravo 5 and we'll take Bravo down here. So this is. Looks like it's going to be the next one, yeah. Taxiing towards the city, my frames go down a little bit. Berto, what did you say? I know, man. Crossbleed, a little bit of free spool rotation there on number 2. Or windmilling, geez, that's what I was looking for, windmilling. Alright, this is Bravo 6 is the next left. We don't want to take that. We're going to go full length, so we're just going to take it all the way down. Just do another flyby. Watch this. So awesome, dude. So awesome. Left here, and then we stay off the cargo ramp. Turn left here on Papa 6. They are the BSS, yep. Kind of cut the corner here, make a little S-turn. No, the sounds are separate. You can get the sounds right now. It's just the BSS sound pack on the CFM 56B. That is the sound pack that I'm using. Love the livery. Yes, it is real life. Yes, it is a real life livery, indeed. Oh man, that pink sun just starting to come up here. So good. We'll go all the way down, hold short, we'll do a crossbleed. How heavy are we? We can't be that heavy. We're 58,000 tons. What was our min fuel for takeoff? Oh, it doesn't matter, it's in pounds, 58.6. We're alright. Turn X-plane down a little bit for you. Alright, holding short of 17 left, we'll do our crossbleed. That cruise, could you dissect the fuel prediction page? Cam, yes, remind me once we get up there at cruise again. If I forget, remind me when we get up at cruise and we'll take a look at the fuel predict page. Pretty common to be the most misunderstood page in the Airbus McDo, for sure. Runway ahead. Alright, we're going to hold short of... Wait, why does that say 3.5? It's probably just a scenery error. This is definitely 1.7. That's right. Brake set. Taxi light off. Let's configure for a crossbleed. So we have engine 1 is running. We're going to go open. We'll go ahead and kill the packs for the supplying engine and the receiving engine. Receiving engine bleed is on. Yes, it is. Engine mode to ignition start. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit of juice here. See our pressure coming up. 40 psi is pretty much what you want. Neos are a little bit different. IAEs are a little bit different. Right about there is good at about 30% N1. And let's go ahead and start engine 2. Enjoy the start. Watch this spin up. Oh, love it. We'll go ahead and bring this one back to idle now. Love it. Alright, looks like we got 2 good starts. That goes normal. That's good. Back up top here. We'll go packs online. Back to auto. Everything else looks good. Alright, you guys ready to get out of here? 2 minutes. 2 minutes for the engine start. That's somebody asked that question. Depending on... or 3 minutes. Or 5 minutes. Actually, I'm sorry, it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes for the Neos. And if it's a classic engine, if it's sat overnight, then you still need a 5-minute warm-up. Alright, 1.7, let's get out of here. Let's turn our lights on. We'll do a cinematic lineup as well. Load to 5M. That is on, isn't it? There you go.
Yes, sir.
Let's roll. Trying to find a view where I can do a cinematic lineup. Feeling we're way to the right. Yeah, we botched that one. Hashtag fake pilot. We botched that lineup. That's all right. Let's get on the center line. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config. Everything else looks good. That come on. PWS is in auto. Why is the cabin? Oh yeah, cabin ready. Close enough. Here we go. We'll spool them up. 50%. Maximum yogas. Here we go. Yoga. Oh, yeah. No flex and flight set. Here we go. Thrust set. 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Flyby. Watch your ears. Oh, man. Another flyby. Looks freaking awesome. All right, let's see if we can do our thrust reduction from right here. Love it. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Flap 0. Disarm the sploid brake. Come on. Are you kidding me? Carda engines with Shanghai. The lights are still just barely on the city. Freaking awesome. Carda plus BSS. I agree, man. Doesn't get much better than that. Speed out, constraint star. You know, let's just go autopilot 1. We're just going to sit here. We're going to watch this departure from the Carda view. I'm just going to name this the Carda view. I don't know. Carda, what's your favorite? Either uptight to the wing route, or do you like seeing that spinner? I kind of like seeing that spinner. I like the inlet right here. Just, this is what makes or breaks engines, in my opinion, as far as the appearance of it being appealing is this has to be perfectly circular. And I don't know how or why, but I imagine it's a common problem amongst developers, because a lot of times you see there's like little half circles or crescents around your engine inlet lip, and it's not a perfect circle. So I'm sure this is a challenge, and it's not just any one developer, it's multiple developers across the sim. If you look, the engines sometimes are not 100% circular. Carda's done a fantastic job making that circular. And a little bit of wear right here along the rivets, just the streaking that you see. Awesome. All right, so we're all constraint star for a little bit here. The ocean view there. We need a Carda engine. Carda says depends on the airplane. The 321 spinner, as you get a better view. 320 and 19 up close to the side. Ah, so Carda likes this view right here. I do like this one too, because you get to see the full detail here. This little chrome piece or brushed aluminum, whatever that is freaking awesome. I love this sound, like the sound right now. Like, engines are low power, you just took off, we're going slow. Just that very low harmonic hum of the bass running right now until we hit this next altitude constraint and the spool up. Ah, it's a low polygon slam. I got you. I mean, look at this. This looks freaking real. It looks better than real life. Here we go. Spool it up.
Subscriber, man. Look up.
I mean, that looks so good. Damn. All right, let's see where we are here. Let's cut the corner, go a little bit closer to Shanghai, shall we? We're going to go flight plan direct to eCommu insert. We're turning. I want to go over downtown a little bit. I forget, what is this? It's like 10 times the size of New York or something? Or it might be even bigger than that. The city of Shanghai. This is the Shanghai Ultimate scenery, by the way, as well. Wow, what a perfect time to take off. Have the lights just barely on. Steve, you're trying that realistic preset in X-Vision. You love it? Awesome, man. Nice. I do too. I like the colors. I gotta say, I've been seeing some enhanced skyscapes streams. Everybody's been flying it. Most recently, I was watching a little bit of FlightFactor Sim in his 340 today, Takeoff, and it was like a very light, not broken, but like just some scattered clouds. The enhanced skyscapes definitely shines, in my opinion, in scattered conditions. It's when it gets to that overcast that I'm like, But this still looks pretty good. There's no clouds out here today. Not that I know of. Let's see what the sky is showing. Nope, Cavo conditions. You hear the wind noise start to pick up now. So we'll go ahead and set standard transition altitude. And let's go ahead and kill our lights. Let's do a flyby. There's a view of downtown for you. We get a perfect view so you'll be able to see. Look at that. Look at that. That's freaking awesome. The sun shining on the buildings. Ah, there's that VSS sound. See how it just went like super loud mode? I'll fix it here in just a second. Actually, it's when you go above 330 knots or something. Back to 310. There we go. See, it goes away. It's a glitch in his sound pack. Above like 310 knots, it goes that really loud mode. Overcast equals potatoes. Yes. Brian M says, hey, everyone, always enjoy the content, and I've learned a lot. Just wanted to say thanks for what you do. Take care, be safe. Thank you, Brian M. I appreciate that, man. The bridge is down there. With the flight factor, the frame's definitely starting to tank a little bit. Plus, having all the lights on still, I'm sure doesn't help. Pretty good job by Active Sky, though. As we get higher in altitude, that haze, you really start to see that haze layer fill in. Although this probably isn't all that bad compared to what it's, real life, or not real life, but in certain days, I know it's like IMC because the haze is so bad, the smog. That's pretty sweet, though, to see all that. What a nice departure that was this morning. All right, let's start turning it down a little bit. Let's go back here, sound, let's turn you down to like, what, 50, we'll turn the external down to about 25. We'll do a flyby shot. Oh, there's some clouds on the horizon. Oh, look at that. That is cool. They're beautiful, Carda. Link for download, they're not quite available yet, Aviation Tours. Not available yet. Alright, enough ooh and ah. Let's pay attention to what we're doing now. We're 21.4, climbing 310. What is this? The weather. We'll turn that one all the way down to like 25%, get the wind noise down. And it seems like it's a smooth ride. We'll go ahead and kill the seatbelt sign. We'll let them roam. Let's zoom out our flight plan here. That looks good. 22, climbing 310, passing 9,400 meters. Try to reset that up. Oh, we're climbing up to 9,400 meters. Oh, and so this is, and it shows you what you're climbing, what you're passing. So right now, we're passing 6,800 meters. So this is active. That's what we're climbing to in meters. And then the FCU and the PFD main altitude will always stay in feet. I'm sure that's to avoid confusion. Oh, here's the shot. Screenshot with the cloud. Look at that. It looks like some type of frontal boundary moving in. It is not a cloud plugin. It's an Active Sky HD and X Vision. Those engines are only for the Flight Factor, or will go, no, Benny, it will go with the TOLUS as well, and it will actually be toggleable. So you know how you can toggle your engines in the TOLUS menu? You'll be able to toggle between all three of Carda's engines, whether it be the CFM or the IAEs or the NEOs, I believe, which that's really going to simplify install or being able to swap, because I have about, I don't know, I probably have 5 319s, 5 321s, 5 320s all in my aircraft folder, because some are, you know, whenever there's an update, I test the beta version, I keep that beta version, then I have a stable version, and then I have a stable version with just a sound mod, and then I have a stable version with the sound mod and an engine mod. So you can see how it adds up in your aircraft folder, but being able to have them all link up, it's going to be really nice. Alright, as we're climbing out here, we'll go ahead and get rid of all this Z-speed. Let's look at Wuhan. We'll pull out some basic charts here. We'll get our 10.9 page out just so we have it ready. Parking stands, I'm not sure where we're going to go. If we're going to land on 4, why don't we, let's go over here to Terminal 3. Yeah, we'll take it in here. How about, yeah, why don't we park on 357? I like that. We'll park on a 357 Magnum, so we'll plan to park there on Terminal 3, Apron 3. We have a hotspot page. I agree, Berto. This is my favorite view right here. Wow, looks like they've had a lot of incidents there with the hotspots. A380 taxi restrictions. You don't see this every day. So 380, runway unusable without limits. Runway usable without limits. Usable for alternate. Runway usable without limits. A380 parking stand. That is cool. So basically, if it's not there, you can't go. If it's not blue, you can't go there. So these are all without limits on the taxiways. That's pretty cool. That's something you don't see every day. It's something you don't think about too. You know, the 380, when that airplane came out, they really had to modify some airports to handle that aircraft. All right, what's our arrival? I forget, but we don't. We're on the XSH. I believe 08, 09 alphas. All right, so we've got that all set up. Let's check out the map view. I should get the flight gear, Flight Simulator 320. What is that? I've never even heard of that. Flight with Realism. Never heard of flight gear. Michael, you recently spent 6 hours in a full motion 320 sim as part of the ATP course. Awesome. The bird, steep turns, piece of cake. Michael, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's funny. I flew with an FO who is a ATP instructor, and he does the 320 sim, I guess, for you guys over at ATP as well. So that's kind of cool. Trying to find a good view here. Where should we go? I like this side better. Awesome. Well, Carda, I'm liking your engines. I tell you that right now. They are sharp. I really like this livery too. I guess this is the logo. I wonder does anybody know what that is? A dragon or something? I'm sure it's a symbol for something. But this livery is nice. Love the flowers on it. Clouds looking juice. I agree, Slam. Looks like we just leveled off here. Yes, we did. We're leveling off. Joe, no, not quite. Almost. 29.1 climbing 3.1. All right. Cam wanted to talk about the fuel predict page here real quick. We'll go over this. So this is a very important page. This kind of takes your init B page after engine start. So you'll notice, well, I shouldn't do that. Interesting. So in the real airplane, when you have your init page here, and on the ground when we go to init B, we put in our zero fuel weight up here, then we put in our CG and then our fuel. In the real airplane, if you go init and then arrow key right, I believe it says unable or something like that, unless this is a different type of software. But essentially, the fuel predict page takes over your init B page or your init page 2 when we do all of our fuel stuff on the ground in pre-flight. So you come to your fuel predict page, and the number one thing you want to understand about this, and let's talk about it. Oops. I was going to say here, why don't we do this, and then why don't we talk about it on an engine view. There we go. So looking at the init, or the fuel predict page, the number one thing you want to understand about this particular page is that it is very much garbage in, garbage out. So if you put in the wrong information, it is going to spit out the wrong information, and it will look like it is correct because it has no warnings to say, oh, that's incorrect. Now, the only thing that it will do is if you start to get really low on gas, and actually, no, it won't. It won't even go amber on you. Why is our altitude horn going off? Oh, because we're leveling in meters? Altitude horn should not go off with the autopilot on. That's interesting. We'll go ahead and set manage speed. I don't know what that was all about. But okay, so now that you know it's garbage in, garbage out, let's go over what it talks about. So this is your at time. So you're at Wuhan. Our predicted UTC arrival is 007, and we're predicting to land with 2.6 tons of fuel. And you can see that jives with this information here on your main flight plan page of 2.6. Now, the alternate, should you have an alternate, would be here. Now, I'm curious, is there an airport close to Wuhan? Let's go data. Why it's not there. Berto360, thanks for the $2 bomb. Real quick, let's go ZSPD again. Let's put in an alternate. Berto, thanks for the $2 bomb, man. I appreciate that. I don't see a message with that. But again, I appreciate your support, Berto. Thank you for your continued support, man. Glad to have you on board, dude. So now that I put in an alternate, you can see this is my alternate information. Now on the real airplane, it will also predict your time and your fuel once you put in your alternate fuel. So we didn't have any alternate fuel here. So if I say I want to land, I'm curious if this will work like the real airplane, and I don't think it 100% does. It should. I want to land 45 minutes with my alternate. Hold on, I'm doing a test here, Cam. Okay, so it's not going to show that right now. So let me go back here. Let me just do none. We'll just do it without alternate. Oh, really? You can't clear it out? Interesting. So the only way to get rid of the alternate here is normally in real life you type in the word none and you put that right there and it would clear out that alternate. But let's stick with it. We'll skip the alternate, but essentially same thing. Time and estimated fuel on board for your alternate. Your route reserve, this is a percentage of your fuel burned en route, and it's the route reserve number and the percent. So we're about 5%. This is something that, depending on your airline, you may or may not even use this. So for a short domestic flight like this, you're probably not going to be using this function. Now, this could depend on what airline you work for, but this can get complex. Don't really worry about the route reserve function. And matter of fact, I'm not even sure if it's even working because it didn't seem to change any of the values. So route reserve is just another way to save fuel for, typically here in the US, we use it for international flying. We have different fuel requirements for going international, and that would be when the route reserve would come into play. Your alternate time and gas will be right here. So if we did have an alternate like we put in, this should populate. So it should say it's going to take this much gas to get to our alternate, and it will show the time as well. The final time right here is the minimum amount of gas that we want to have on board the aircraft. So we have a minimum final time of 30-minute reserve, which is equal to 0.9 pounds. Now, depending on your paperwork, let's say 45 minutes is more standard, so I can just change that to 45 minutes of time as my absolute final, and it bumped that up to 1.3. So you can modify either way. You can see this is a manual modification because it's in big letters now, and can I clear it? I don't know if I can. I can clear it, go back to default, and the letters should go small. But you can change this either way. This is what you're comfortable with. So most common, I like to see this at least 45 minutes here. 30 minutes, you're starting to get a little bit low. 45 minutes, and of course, depending on your route of flight, whether it be an international, what type of fuel rules you're under, you're going to have requirements that are or values that are required by the governing authority of what your final fuel can be. The minimum destination fuel on board, this is how much fuel you want to have upon landing, which 0.4 seems so low, but I gotta remember this isn't in pounds, this is in kilos. So 0.4, which is I guess equal to almost an hour of gas. So that would be pretty standard, I guess. This number over here is your extra, and essentially alternate and final, you combine these, this gives you your minimum destination fuel on board. It's basically just a computer. Now, since I can't modify this alternate time right here, it doesn't look like it's working as intended. So, but I mean, I wouldn't really worry about that. As long as you have this over here, this is what's going to keep you safe. So this is your extra gas. Now I want you to watch something here. This is right now, we're planning to land with 2.6. We're going to have 0.8 extra on board, or 0.9 extra with 30 minutes of extra gas. Let's say I want to change my minimum destination fuel to 1.0. Let's say I'm not comfortable landing with 0.4. I'm sorry. I want to change my final time from 1.3. Let's say I want to land with 2.0. So now, look what happened to my extra gas. If I am required to land with an hour 10 minutes, now I only have 6 minutes extra gas. Why is that important? And this isn't 100% working to the real airplane, so I'm kind of modifying my explanation here. But for sim, if I have 2.0 here, that's my final. Now I only have 6 minutes extra gas. You see how that changed that? And I clear it back out, and then this will recalculate. So right now it says, right now, with a minimum of 30 minutes on the ground, we have 45 minutes extra flying time. That could be used for holding. It can be used for delay vectors. But what you don't want to see, like let's see if I go 1.2. Let's try 2.2. Here you go. This is what you don't want to see. This means you don't have enough gas to get to your destination right now. We're actually negative in the fuel value here. So you never want to see a negative value there. But if you see a negative value, you probably mess something up over here. But this is a good indication in the sim, like let's say you're on VATSIM on an FNO and it's super busy and you get a holding instruction and they say, hey, you're holding for Dulles right now and you're flying around in circles, how long can you stay in that hold? Well, if I have my minimum of 30 minutes and I told you I want it to be 45 minutes, because that's pretty much the standard here in the US for an instrument flight, is 45 minutes extra as your basic alt as your basic minimum fuel, that only gives me 30 minutes to play around in a hold if I'm on VATSIM or whatnot. So this is really all that's used for. It's kind of to play around with what can you do, what can't you do. And if this were working as to the real airplane, you know, I could put in my alternate gas here, or my alternate flight plan. My alternate flight plan would populate how much gas it would need. I could then add a little bit of extra gas to that. I could put my final flight time here, which if I look at my charts, I bet you it even has a final on there. Let's see. So this calls for FAR. So this says, according to the FARs, we only need 30 minutes. But in real life, this probably is about 45. And actually, you could see FAR plus 15 minute would be 45 minutes. So this is, I have to manually modify that. I want 45 minutes reserve. That means I only have 29 minutes to play around on a hold. The other information here, this is your zero fuel weight CG, updated after engine start. After you start engines, you do want to make sure that this does update. I've had instances after engine start where my McDo updated the zero fuel weight, but the first officer's McDo did not update his zero fuel weight, and then we had conflicting takeoff speeds, which posed a problem. We had to sort that out. And then, of course, this is your fuel on board. Not quite sure, FF plus FQ. Not quite sure what that means right now. Fuel flow plus fuel quantity, maybe. With 4.7 on board right now. Let's see. Is that what we have on board? 4.0. 4.06. I'm not quite sure. So this is our current fuel on board, so this is correct. I don't know why it has fuel flow and fuel quantity there, but 1.3 plus 4.8 equals 2.5. Exactly. So if I were to change this, like let's say I could put an alternate fuel, let's say I wanted to add 1.5 here, then in real life I'd have 1.5 plus 1.3, which would give me 2.8, and it would give me 2.8 down here, and then it would take away my extra gas over here. But this isn't quite working as the real airplane would. But again, in the sim world, this is all you really need to worry about, is this extra time gas right here. And again, look at your flight plan, whatever flight plan format you use. What is your basic minimum? FAR 30 minutes required plus 15, that's 45 minutes. I put in my 45-minute time here, and which is 1.3 tons, which gives me an extra of 29 minutes of gas. So remember, it's all this is a basic computer. And if you put in the wrong values, it's going to give you the wrong output. You know, let's say you accidentally fat fingered it and you did 2.2 final. Now you're showing, why do I have extra -1 on my fuel? So then you call dispatch and you're like, what's going on? We don't have enough gas for this flight. And then realize, well, no, you made a mistake. So garbage in, garbage out with this page here in the box. But that's kind of a brief sim overview of the fuel predict page for you in the Flight Factor. How we look? Let's go back outside for a little bit. But I hope that clears it up at least a little bit for you, Cam. We're going to show the tropopause. So on the United 18 format, it's right here. This is the format I'm using, is United 18. I gotta turn this down a little bit more. How about 5 or 10? Let's go 5. So the tropopause, I know you guys are always wondering about this flight plan. Why do I use the United 18 format? A couple of reasons. I like having all my fuel in this format. This is very similar to what I see in my day job, is having everything boxed here. So it's very common for me to see this. My eyes are just trained to read this format a little bit better. I can look at this, I know, boom, here's my gate fuel, here's my min takeoff fuel. I know my remaining fuel at destination. I got 4,000 pounds or 45 minutes extra gas. That's the combination of this FAR plus this 15. I don't have an alternate. If you had an alternate, Cam, it would also be right here. So if you had an alternate in your SimBrief flight plan, you would then put this fuel number or this time number in that fuel predict page to give you the most accurate remaining fuel number. I'm not quite sure why the Flight Factor fuel, the alternate page wasn't updating, but I like having this box format, if you will. And then all my FMS init load, which is labeled right here, this is what you've got. You've got your cruise altitude. It's actually minus 41 because it's plus 4. You see me modify that. The tropopause altitude right here, 52.5. Again, we talked about the tropopause briefly. Why do we care about it? Short haul, it doesn't really do much, but again, the temperature rises above the tropopause instead of, or the temperature rises with altitude, or I should say increases with altitude, as opposed to decreases with altitude. So on a long distance flight, that definitely will be a player for I guess economy or fuel planning purposes. And then here's your takeoff weight parameters. I don't use this too much. You guys know I'd like to go full-blown yogas all the time, flaps 1, but if you really want to get down to it, this is what the information is planned off of with these weights. 1+F, dry anti-ice off, and the air conditioning packs on. Landing weight parameters, dry anti-ice, engine anti-ice, engine, aircraft on. Can't remember what that stands for. And then if I look at this page, I also like having this page in this format. So I got my whole route text here, easy for me to see. And then here is my flight plan. Now I like this format because I guess you could say a little bit more old school. When I was going through flight training, I used the nav logs very similar to this, where you would actually put in, okay, here's my waypoint, here's my planned ET, my altitude and all that, and then I would fill it out manually, and then you take that with you and you go on a cross country. So I'm just familiar with looking at this, so this is why I prefer this flight plan format. I'm not saying any flight plan format is better than another. It's whatever your eyes are trained to read, or whatever is easiest for you to read, but this is just kind of what I'm used to. Now here's an interesting note. Goes back to Cam and your fuel page. Fuel reserve for flag and supplemental operations. So depending on the type of operation that you're doing, you may have to use that route reserve, whether it's a flag operation or a supplemental. And that gets into some really boring information that we read in the FAR-AM about fuel requirements. But you want to make sure that whatever you're dispatched for, you're doing that flight. Like, you don't want to be doing a supplemental operation and be dispatched with flag operation fuel levels. So it's just a way to categorize the type of fuel planning that's required. This is all done, taken care of by the dispatcher, which looks like the dispatcher's on here, Elvira Britt, and there's the number to call her or him. So that's just a brief highlights of this format that I like to use. What is the perf factor on the data page? Oh, the perf factor on the data page? That's basically how bent is your airplane. So he's asking, let's see how far are we from top of descent. Oh, we're still good. So on the perf page, perf data, aircraft status, idle perf right here, this is how bent your airplane is. So if you have a high perf factor, you're basically going to have more drag than normal. So a brand new airplane out of the factory should theoretically have a perf performance of 0. But if as airplanes get bent, as landings and up and down, they get beat up, and yes, airplanes do get bent, believe it or not, over time. The performance goes down, right? It's not as efficient, so then you have to account for that. What's funny is I flew a 319 not too long ago that had a perf factor of like, I don't know, 3.9 or something, which is starting to get up there pretty high. And I could actually tell, I was looking at the rudder trim. The rudder trim was like way out here. It was like, I don't know, 3.7 or something. I mean, it was trimmed way out to fly straight. And that, that trim of the rudder to keep the airplane straight is also a decrease in proficiency. So you have to take that into account. Now, I believe that's here, drag coefficient, or this is the same thing. So this is 0 plus 0. So if you had, I believe this is where it would be in this format. Like if that had a 3.9, you'd want to make sure it matched. Now in the real airplane, this is not something that you put in. Excuse me, my mouth's getting dry. Not something that you put in normally. It should automatically be in there. If I remember correctly, depending on the software load, this will actually be tailored to this specific aircraft. So just like your engines are tailored, this is the CFM 56 5B4 engine. Here's your nav database, and this is a jet chart. You know, depending on your company, you'll have your company database information here, which I've also seen, you know, the wrong database is loaded on the aircraft, like a different company database. So you want to make sure that's the same database, and then the perf should match up with your paperwork. I'm pretty sure that's where it was. I don't think there's a spot here. Let me just make sure there isn't a perf factor. And you can adjust this in SimBrief too, believe it or not. Yeah, there's no other perf factor located here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it would be for fuel planning. So, and you can adjust that in SimBrief. You can actually adjust your performance factor. But that's what that means, Christian. Ooh, some juice inches. Man, look at those clouds. What is the most complicated Airbus? They were all almost identical. Are you talking about the 320 family, or just in general? I think in general, probably the A300. You know, it's the most different. Let me look at something here. Geo, I opened up Discord, man. I'm just getting your message now, dude. Geo, that's pretty sweet, man. I'll get back. I'm gonna get back to you on that, man. I'll send you a message. That's awesome, dude. I don't know if I can. If you want me to say it publicly, well, obviously not your number, but I'll hit you up, man. That sounds pretty sweet. I'd be interested in that for sure. Yes, that is SimBrief, Busan. Right up in the Carda engines here. Gosh, look at those engines, man. I can't wait. So he's also working on the A5. This is a CFM 56B. He's working on a CFM 56A variant as well. And if you're following his progress in the Discord, he's also working on the variant with the chevrons on the back. So that is pretty sweet. Man, it looks good. Critter, welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Glad to have you on board. Welcome back, sir. Appreciate it. Kid named Kenny says, taking the ATP route actually gets someone flying commercial in 1 year. I don't know what the current time frame is right now, but it's not unreasonable to think that. Wow, look at this. Little change of color there. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that, a kid named Kenny. Now, maybe if you start in January, but remember, you still got to build the time, right? So you got to go through your ATP, and then you got to build the hours. I think you get a restricted ATP at, what, 1,200 or something? Those shadows are pretty ugly here, but the engines look damn good. But the way the airlines are hiring, man, I don't see where that would be too far-fetched. Acoustic, he says he has acoustic lining, the holes in the acoustic lining. Let's go in here. So this is the acoustic lining. Basically, it's to dampen the sound. Wow. All the little holes in there. That's pretty incredible, dude. Let's go down the left side here. Vika 6-month membership. Sorry, so busy from the private. No worries, man. Welcome back. Hope your private pilot is going well. Cam A321 coming in with a $20 bomb. Hey, Cam, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that, number one. Very generous of you. Thank you, sir. Says, thanks as always, Captain. How can one ever argue with Airbus and the system's design? Dubai Airshow took an order for 255 321 Neos. That is awesome. Absolutely. Cam, I agree with you 110%. I mean, once you get behind the Airbus philosophy, it's hard to go any other way. I firmly believe that. I've flown with guys that have flown both airplanes, and everyone has their preferences, no doubt. But once you fully believe and get in behind the Airbus philosophy, it's hard to let that go. Plus the cockpit, man. You can't deny the cockpit. Look at the start valve, handle access, pressure relief door, hoist point, round here, phone jack. Look at this, vents here, pressure relief door, anti-ice duct axis. Like, I'm learning things about this engine, Carda, from your... I'm learning things about the real engine from your engine mods. Bertha says, how often do planes need to be overhauled? Oh man, that depends. That depends on what do you mean by over. There's different levels of overhaul. There's like A checks, there's B checks, there's C checks, and then the D check, which is a heavy check. The heavy D check is, I think, where they actually take the wings off the airplane. Now, I don't remember what the time frames are for all that, Berto, but I know there's several. And in fact, I just took an airplane on my last flight. I believe it just came out of I want to say it was an A check, which is it's a substantial check. Like, there's different levels. I don't remember what they all stand for, but I know the D check is probably one of the I think the D check is the heaviest one. That's where they actually, like I said, pull the wings off the airplane itself. The A and B, they may do gear swings, put it up on jacks. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a mechanic in chat that could answer that for you, but there's all different types. I mean, if the airplanes are inspected on RONs, we call them RONs, which is on an overnight check. Then they have weekly checks, and then of course they have cycle checks. After so many cycles, they have to be checked, and then after a certain amount of time, they have to be checked, and then after a certain amount of hours, they have to be checked. So they are inspected rather heavily, at least here in the United States. I'm not sure how that goes for around the world as a whole, but just kind of a very basic idea for you there here in the States. Vikas, thanks for the $5 bomb. I appreciate it, man. He says, flying an X-plane has made my training smooth. PPL plus instrument rated in 3 months. I'm so happy. Thanks to all the knowledge from all you guys. Vikas, well, that's great to hear it, man. That is awesome to be able to get your PPL and instrument in 3 months. Glad you're enjoying it. Awesome stuff, man. I'm glad you continue to learn here on the channel and bring that information home. And I've said it, this X-plane is definitely a tool. It can definitely be used as a tool to help you with your training, help you get better at being proficient when you go in to do a training lesson, which is something that I don't know if I really took advantage of. It wasn't as good as it is now. When I was going through private pilot training, we didn't have X-Plane 11 or P3D and FS Labs. We didn't have high fidelity aircraft or even just high flight model aircraft where you can really get in and see all the switches and they're in the right spot and move around a virtual cockpit. That really wasn't a full-blown thing yet. But it is a tool. You can definitely use it as a tool, and you'll save money that way. You'll save real money going to flight school if you can practice and do your stuff in the sim before you go. Aviator, he says, now we understand why he spends so much time in the engines. The detail is second to none. We are not worthy. I know, Trav, the detail is second to none. It really is. They are study level engines. Just wait till we get to the reverser animations. This might be one of my favorite parts right here, Carda. This little crease. I mean, this crease right here just looks so good, where it's flat on the pylon and then it angles out. That might be one of my favorite parts right there. That's awesome. Is there better light? This one's in the shade. Stick with this one here for now. Do Carda view. I also like, the other view that I like is I like being almost parallel with the leading edge. You know, this one is a very realistic view to me, I think. If I had a window, if I had the Batavia mod windows on. But like that to me is a pretty realistic view, because in real life you can't stick your neck all the way out and around the window, right? So being able to sit here, this is kind of a realistic view. Alfie says there's a good documentary on heavy check on a Lufthansa 777 on Amazon Prime in the UK. I'm not sure if it's available in the US through. The narrator keeps calling it the 777. Interesting. That's an interesting, Alfie. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out maybe. I do like those videos. I find myself going down the YouTube rabbit hole with videos like that. I think I watched a 45-minute or maybe even an hour video on how they ship. I think it was it wasn't an airplane, like mega transport or something, where they were towing something across the ocean. It's crazy. FS98 Ranger Rick, I remember FS98. Cam says, catch the rest of the stream later. Safe flight, happy landings. Take it easy, Cam. They are not out yet, Porter. They are not out yet. He is still working on them. This is still a beta work in progress version. Gosh, look at the pylon. 424AR. Are these different part names? BR, IR. The scratches up here just look awesome. And those clouds down there. Oh man, look at that shot. That's a good shot with the clouds. Carter says that was my view the last flight on the 320, which was CFM EasyJet. Might have been one window forward. I spent an entire time looking at that thing. So one window forward. Let's go over here, right about here. Actually, let me go back. Well, that's an emergency exit row, so it would be like right here. Here's Carda's view. Right about, I think right about there is realistic. Maybe see down just a little bit, like that. That's about as real as it gets right there. Josh, what's up? He says, I haven't been able to catch many lives recently. No worry, man. I haven't been streaming too much, but happy to be here. Question, what is your favorite airport to fly into? DFW, man. Means I'm going home. But no, for real, if I like to, as far as fun to fly into, it really depends. I wouldn't say I have a favorite airport. I mean, there's some cool approaches. I mean, of course, you got the river visual, you got the harbor visual in Portland. You know, I like just the standard approach comes into Portland, Oregon, because you come in over the river. It's beautiful. I like flying into LA, even though it's just a straight in approach from miles out. It just depends on, it really depends, man. That's a hard one to answer. San Diego's a lot of fun. You know, I enjoy O'Hare because you get to see a lot of heavies that you don't typically see. You see a lot of the Asian carriers in O'Hare. You see that in LA too, but O'Hare has some nice heavy jets coming in there. Carter says, my understanding that the panel names so they know where they are when disassembling. Oh, right is left and left. Ah. So he even has, that's ridiculous. So this part is 424 AR, which would be right side. So now the question, Carta, is does it say L on this side? Oh my gosh, 424 AL. Talk about frickin' detail. And this is BL. This is IL. So they're the same part, but labeled left side. Interesting. Carter, that is next level. That really is a next level type of detail, man. Extinguisher 2, extinguisher 1, that's where it goes inside here. So he even has the parts properly labeled. Wow. A little drain mass out here on the backside. That sun's starting to shine off that metal. Freaking juicy, dude. Absolute juicy. Alright, how are we looking for top of descent? We're probably getting close. We are just about 160 miles from top of descent. We will start down soon. Wow, that's a beautiful shot right there. Look at those clouds out there. And there's a little bit of terrain here as we cross the mountains. I like that. I like when we were trying to get the realism view. Because, there we go, right about there. This is a frustrating seat because you're just a little bit too far forward to really see back. But that's about all you can see when you put your head all the way up against the glass. Superdill says in the 320 Neo and 321, you can start both engines at the same time or you cannot. What would be the procedure? You can't start them both at the same time. Now, that could be dependent upon a software issue, maybe, because I remember seeing a mechanic start or move both start switches, and then they just started in sequence. It started one, and then it started two. And I'm pretty sure that was on a Neo aircraft, but I was jump seating. And then there was one time, allegedly, on a repo, we tried it, and it didn't work, allegedly. But it, I don't think so. I don't think that's common. I know you definitely can't, like, actually spin them up. The APU is not strong enough to start both at the same time. It may just be in the system logic where if you move both switches to start, it will start them in sequence, but I'm not 100% sure on that. As far as I know, that is not a procedure. You don't do that. You start engine one, then you start engine two. So now the 340, yes, you can. When you fly the real Airbus, do you spend a lot of time looking out at the engine? Not from up front, man. Can't see the engine from up front. Can't see the engine from up front. The 319, you can see a lot of the wing on the 319 because you're closer to it, but I'm pretty sure you can't see the engine on the 319 either. I agree, Gio. I agree, man. Totally. Curtis says, I definitely had my neck ache after the last flight looking back to see the reversers. Yep. Yeah, because if you're in this seat here, you really got to, I mean, you could probably get your head there, but then you're eating the seat in front of you. Oh, this one actually in a bulkhead, so you probably could tweak yourself to come over here and look down like that. But yeah, that's, you know, you can't see the engines from the cockpit. So that's, I think, a reason why I love when I flight sim. I always sit over here on the engine view because I want to see the wing and the engine. But everyone that, you know, not everyone, but a lot of people are like, well, I want to see the cockpit. Why are you on the wing view the whole stream? It's because, well, I see this all the time. I want to see what I don't see, which is back there. So, I mean, we can do a little jump seat riding, though. That's pretty cool, huh? Tray table out, have a little bit of lunch. What I think is going to be sweet when he releases them for the Tolus bird, you'll be able to actually switch it in the ISCS, which is really nice. All right, we got to start doing some work here. It's about time. Let's come down here, enter destination data, Orion. Here we go. We're going to be going into ZHHH, and I believe we're landing 04 right, is what I said. We'll throw that in the box. Perf data, next. What do we have for active sky? Do a quick refresh right now. 41 minutes old, expected weather conditions. Variable at 1 meter per second. 4,000 foot haze. NSC, is that no significant clouds or no significant cover? I don't remember what NSC stands for. Temperature of 14. Since the winds are basically 0, we're just going to go 0 for 0. And a QNH of 1022 with no sig. So that is set. We're doing the ILS 4 right whiskey, so let's pull out our charts here. We're going to go back to the approach ILS 4 right, ILS DME whiskey 4 right. Actually, no, we're doing the, I think we're doing this one. Yeah, this is the one we did. All right. lot of different speed. Procedure available by ATC only. Interesting. Initial approach restricted. Why are we turning? Oh. Initial approach restricted to max 205 knots if aircraft performance allows maintain 180 between intercept final 8 miles per touchdown. Simultaneous approach is authorized with 4 left. Okay, not too worried about that. Here's our feet to meter conversion. Final approach fix is at 2960 feet, which is 900 meters. The MDA is going to be 2960. So let's load this up here. Let's come down here. Let's go 2960 in the MDA. 2960 feet. Config full. 127 VAP. Transition altitude is at 9850. Oh, which is transition flight level of 11.8. So it's already set at 12. Perfect. Multiple sector altitudes, that looks fine. We should have plenty of runway to land on. It's a 3-degree path right here going down. That looks good. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll go into plan mode. Zoom that range down just a little bit. Let's step through this. Let's scroll that down a little bit more. All right, so DHP. Well, then there's a conflict. I want to go straight to 2.9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of 1.3. And then we're going to go, and we're going to go here. No, undo. Undo. What's going on here? 414, 413, then 2.9. So let me get rid of the disco. What is that going to do? Is it really? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to leave it because it seems to be conflicted about life. So we're just going to leave it. We'll manually take care of that, but that looks good. We'll zoom that out. We'll get our terrain on. And in fact, right now, let's just go direct to DHP. Insert in the turn flyby. No significant change. Yeah, that's what it is. No sig means no significant weather. Maybe NSC is no significant change. No clouds is correct. I don't remember. No significant clouds. Is an MDA must-do addition? If it is an MDA down here, but no, it's not. See? Oh shoot! You know what, Ranger Rick, you caught. I think you made a mistake. I think you caught us here. I think you're right. We messed up. I put the wrong value in here. Well, that's 2960. What did I put that? That's the final approach fix. The MDA we're going to use is a DA, which is 297. So even though we're putting this in the MDA box, this should really say baro and then radio is what the updated airplanes say, or depending on the software, I should say. So yes, MDA is must-do addition if it's published as an MDA. The ILS is published as a DA of 297. So that's 297 in our baro window, which coincidentally is 200 feet above the ground. So theoretically, you could put 200 in the DH, and you would be at the same spot in space at 297 MSL if you have the correct altimeter setting. Now, if the glide slope was at a service and you had to do the localizer approach, now it's published as an MDA. So we'd have to do 690 plus 50, which would be 740 in the MDA box. But we're doing the full procedure ILS, and we have a DA published, so we can set 297. Even though we're putting that in the MDA box, that's why it's been changed in updated aircraft. It's actually baro and then radio. So baro, it goes off this altimeter, right? So that's really all we care about. We're going to be using our barometric minimums. Now, Cat 2, Cat 3, that's something a little bit different. All right, so it's going to bottom out at 205 knots, 2960 feet. So we'll just set 3,000, which is in the conversion, it's 900 meters. And what we do here is we'll go 200 and we'll scroll over one notch, 880 meters. I can't put it at, there's 910 meters, so we're 10 meters off, but that's fine. 3,000 is set, and there's our top of descent. So let's go ahead and mash it. Mock descent, here we go. Uh-oh. Hit the wrong button. NSC, no significant clouds. Okay. If there are no clouds of operational significance, that is a cloud below 5,000 feet or the highest 25 nautical mile minimum sector altitude. Perfect. So that was my initial gut instinct. So
Subscriber ahead.
we're
Look
good.
Up.
Engines are coming back. There's our thrust idle. Let's get the seatbelt sign on. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for our descent into Wuhan, where it all began. A little bit more juice here. I love the low hum on the BSS. In China, the most common would be Zulu. Would be assigned 95% of the time. Most approaches not ending with a Z would be using conventional nav aids mostly. Interesting, Conq. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. If I was in the real airplane or if I was in the TOLUS, I wasn't worried about the airplane crashing. If I started changing approaches, I would change it. I just loaded that one up because I thought it sounded cool. I didn't even look at it. I was just going through the list, and I'm like, which one sounds like it might have a cool turn? It really doesn't. It's just I guess, like you said, a conventional nav aid approach. That's why it's a DME right here, 29.2 for the initial approach fix. But also why it would be a procedure available by ATC only. So we could change it, but the Flight Factor box tends to be a little unstable for me, so I'm just going to leave it. But that's good to know. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the new subscribes. I appreciate that, guys. I know there's a couple of y'all there that I didn't see it, but Tanya, most recent, thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate it. Alfie says I just saw this when I scrolled back. There's a special place in hell for people who sit in the window seat with the blind down all flight. Oh, man, I agree. I hate it. I can't stand the blinds down. Procedures ending with a Zulu would have fixes that are RNP or GNSS based in China. So Y, for example, would be mostly conventional DME. Ah, okay. Zulu is straight in and also used in Europe, you think? Max Rank says the clicking issues eliminated with an MCP from Scalarchy. Oh, wow. I know you got that fancy MCP. Max, did you get any more toys? I got to see a picture of your setup, man. You gotta post a picture of your setup in operation now. Y'all are getting these cool MCP. What is this? A Boeing FCU? EFIS FCU, Max. I had to just kick you from the check because you said MCP. Come on. No stinking Boeing. Although I did enjoy that Zebo flight. I gotta say, I really enjoyed that Zebo flight we did in the Southwest, Freedom 1 into DC. That was a lot of fun. Question is, where do we go from here? From Wuhan? Do we go back to Shanghai? Do we continue south? I think the next flight we might have to be in Microsoft Flight Sim because I don't have any scenery out here. No ortho anyway. Might have to fire up the old Microsoft Flight Simulator. Card, I do the same thing too. Yeah, that's right. If the sun is coming in, if it's an early morning flight or something, people are trying to sleep, and it's just directly in the window, super bright, I'll put it down a little bit. Yeah. Christian. Yeah, you eliminate more than just clicking sounds. That's for sure, Max. This livery really reminds me of a Hawaiian livery. That Hawaiian, for sure. Alright, we're at a 19.8, direct to DHP. Let's get our LS push buttons on. We'll do manual brake. Actually, you know what? Since we are, we'll do manual brakes. I was going to do low brakes. We'll do manual brakes. Flaps full reverse, of course. Is there any other reverse than full reverse? haven't flown this FPS or this plane in a while due to low FPS, but updated it and now get green screens. Jay, I don't know about that. I've heard of that issue. I think I've read about that issue before. I personally haven't experienced a green screen issue. You might be best just doing a full reinstall.
Donation. Donation.
Super D, what's up, man? Thanks for the $2 bomb, man. V1 and a reject takeoff. Which procedure is used? Happened to you? Which takeoff? Reject takeoff. Which procedure is used? Happened to you? What happens in a rejected takeoff? Thank you for your $2 super chat. I appreciate that. But what is a? I guess what do you do in a rejected takeoff? Well, everybody has their own role, right? So the captain has his role, and the FO has his role. My role is to stop the aircraft on the runway, bring the aircraft to a complete stop, put the parking brake on, call flight attendant stations, analyze the situation, do ECAM actions, emergency evacuation checks as requested. FO will do, I'll call your reversers, manual brakes, auto brakes, notify UTC we're stopping on the runway, turn on the dome light, perform any ECAM actions, or the emergency evacuation check as requested. That's kind of how the brief goes, in short. But everyone's got their roles. Even if the FO is flying, it's the captain's decision to reject. So I would stop the aircraft. Number one consideration in a reject is directional control, right? Especially high speed, above 100 knots. You're in a high speed regime. You don't reject for a lot above 100 knots. It's got to be pretty serious to commence a reject procedure on that. But once you do, number one priority is directional control. Keep the airplane on the runway. Try to keep it centered as best you can. Especially if an engine failure, you might have a yawing moment, so you want to get it under control. If you have an engine fire, then you may want to consider, if you have a strong wind, you may want to consider, before bringing the aircraft to complete stop, pointing the nose in a direction of which the flames aren't going to be blowing onto the cabin. So, say you're taking off with a strong crosswind from the right and you have an engine failure. You probably don't want to be parallel with that crosswind and the wind blowing the flames right onto the cabin, right? I may try to turn that nose a little bit into the wind so it would deflect those flames away from the cabin. Just something to think about. But of course you want to stay on the runway, because if you're going to be evacuating, you got to think about where the fire truck's going to be going. And you want people to be safe as possible, so there's a lot that goes into it. Can we get a face cam? Hey, maybe for, let's say, maybe 50K subs? Maybe then we'll do it. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and set our altimeter. It is 1022. Set once, set twice, and set 3 times. What is that on QFE? QNH 1022 is set. Out of 11,000, let's go and get our lights on. Let's get our volumes up.
Seat backs to their upright and stow your tray tables. Please turn off any laptop computers and stop them. Flight attendants will walk into the cabin for the final time, picking up any remaining cups and glasses for the service animals. We'll be landing soon.
Roger. Oh, the scenery is pretty awful. I do apologize. I didn't want to take time. I mean, we're doing one flight over here, so it's like, I don't really need to do work though for it. There we go. How's that look? Panel picture is up in the Discord, Max. I gotta take a sneak peek of that. Oh, Max. That is sweet, dude. I like how you're sitting from the FO seat. That's pretty cool. I've noticed more and more people sit in the FO seat. I'm curious. I'm going to do a quick poll. Curious, because I've seen quite a few pictures of guys sitting in the right seat, especially on the tolless birds. All right, we're 9.8. We're on the descent. Let's pay attention now. .6, we're going down to 910 meters. Speed. We have a 205 knot restriction down there. We're on altitude. We're looking good. I'm gonna go direct DHP29. Is that gonna mess it up? Why does it want to go way out there? Oh, is that the missed approach? Yeah, that's a missed approach. That's why. There we go. All right, so now we're going to be just a tad high. Let's do a little spoid brake action. There's Wuhan. There she is. Okay, so yeah, there's a few people that fly from the right seat. Interesting. I was just curious. I was curious about that. Just a quick poll, just curious. All right, 7.9, here we go, 10.22. I'm thinking we shut off all the automation in there, huh? Get the honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant, rocking the Airbus throttles. One thing I'm gonna put out, I'm gonna suggest for you guys, if you're rocking the default Airbus pack for the Bravo, and you have just 2 throttles, or you're just using the 2 throttles for the narrow body family, I would suggest using the throttle axis 1 and throttle axis 3 for your main engine 1, engine 2 axes. And then in the middle, I just put that blank Airbus throttle add-on. So I'm actually manipulating 3, but I'm telling you, it feels more realistic, in my opinion, than just having those 2 throttles close to each other, where it basically is a finger's width. Oop, speed brake's still out. That's me. So I would suggest doing 1, 2, 3 throttles, and because even when I manipulate the thrust levers with 3, it feels like I'm still moving 2, because I got those auto thrust instinctive disconnect push buttons there on the outside, so it just makes it feel a little bit more realistic. I don't know why someone hasn't made a model for full-size Airbus grips for the Bravo. I mean, there's a couple out there I've seen for the CJ mod. We have the flat mods where you can have the detents, but someone needs to model the actual size of the throttle levers for the Bravo. That would be pretty cool. The Thrustmaster TCA throttles, believe it or not, feel pretty good in the hand as far as size is concerned, but I definitely prefer the range of motion on the Bravo setup. That's why I still have my TCA. I might do a giveaway with that TCA. I might just send it away for a lucky viewer. We'll have to see. Gio, that shared cockpit you did with XP was in the right seat and it was different. Oh yeah, man. If you haven't flown in the right seat and then you just get in it and fly it, yeah, that's pretty, that could be a different feeling for sure, especially trying to land on center line. Christian says your brain just can't process the landmarks from the right. Just try it in real life, man. If you sit in the right seat for years and then you sit in the left seat, you'd be off center line all the dang time. I also figured out why I'm consistently off center line in this airplane. There's VFE next -10. Let's go flaps 1. But my seat position, and I did when I was testing, it's like, why am I off center line? In real life, on the runway center line, I feel like the view is different. Even though I'm centered here, in X-plane, I need to put the center line like right here for it to be actual center line, when in real life, it needs to be further to the right. So I think that's why I'm consistently left in the flight factor. I have to try it out on the toll list to see if it is the same thing, but... Alright, let's go ahead and activate the approach phase, if we didn't already. And we're just going to let it come back all the way out manually. There's VFE next -10. Let's go flaps 2. back. I think there was a speed restriction on that final turn. No, we're good. Maintain 180 between intercept final and 8 miles from touchdown. So 180. Oh, so let's go ahead and let's comply. I'm going to bring it up. I hate that. Like, way to go, man. Spool them way up. If you give away the TCA, autograph it first with a Sharpie marker. Harvey, that's a great idea, Jeremy. I will do that. I will definitely do that, Jeremy. Romulus, I have my Warthog joystick on the right, but I fly left seat. Romulus, that's what I did for years, man, and it never bothered me until COVID hit, and all I was doing was flying X-plane and not the real airplane. And then my hands, in my brain, I started slowing down mentally with my muscle memory of the real airplane. And as soon as I noticed that, I was like, okay, I'm done. No more messing around. I got to get a left-handed stick for the sim because it just wasn't matching up with what I was doing in real life. And you go 6 months without flying an airplane, and all you do is fly with your right hand in X-plane. Then you go sit in the real airplane and do V1 cuts. You're going to feel a little bit discombobulated. And I was like, I can't. That's negative training. But I know why you do it on this, because that Warthog stick, man, it feels so good. It's so true to real life as far as the tension is concerned and the feeling of the stick. All right, so it was 180 to 8 miles from touchdown. So we're 10 miles from DCD, which is essentially on the field. So we'll hold this 180 speed for a little bit longer. Just as a matter of interest, what's your FOV? I don't know. What is my FOV? It is... Oh boy. Yeah, resume. Graphics? 90.5. That might have something to do with it too. But whatever it is, I feel like I have to land more left in the sim. Like I have to, the center line should be more to the right on as far as taxiing on the ground and being on the runway. You know, we use like right about here. I don't know. We'll have to look. If I remember, I'll try to move myself over a little bit more on touchdown. All right, there's... Why are we 11 miles now? We're going out? 108 knots, 3,000. We're set. Doesn't the captain have to do special training to fly from the right seat again? Yes, I think you have to do like a... I can't remember what it's called. Depending on the airline, they may not even be qualified. Now, check airmen, you know, they can fly from the right seat, or line check airmen. Training captains, you know, because when you train a captain, when the captain is just upgrades from the right seat to the left seat, he will be flying with the training captain who would be sitting on the right seat. So, yeah, they have to do a little bit of a extra sim to be considered current in the right seat. Carda, you have 105. Yeah, because your monitor is about 6 feet wide, dude. I feel like this is true to real life, though. Like, I feel like, so this is my field of view right here. Like, I feel like when I'm in the airplane, I'm sitting straight, I can see all this information. Might have something to do with it. We'll see. All right, we're within, let's see, there's 8 miles. Let's go manage speed, gear down. Well, sorry for that. Ear destruction. Flaps full. Oh my god, my ears are done. My ears are done. Why did we... Oh, we never armed the approach. Are you kidding me? Autopilot off, flight director's off. We got caught to talk in here. Give me the bird to chat. We need to catch up to this. Auto thrust is coming off. Manual. Manual thrust, everything. Oh my gosh. We may have to go around. I didn't arm the approach. Nobody armed the approach.
2,500.
Alright, we'll try to be stable. If we can't, we'll go around legit. Christian, now you tell me, jeez. We gotta be stable by 1,000 feet, so I think we're gonna catch up to it here. Oh yeah, we got it. Piece of cake. We'll win from the right, we'll get back on it. While we're diving and driving, let's go ahead and arm you and cabin ready, flaps full, landing checklist. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust. It is off. Auto brakes are off. ECAM memo. Landing all green. Doing some S-turns here to get back on it. We're good. So now we can go ahead and pull out of it. Right about 3 degrees. That was a little abrupt. It's so sensitive in the pitch. Let's get a little power back in here now. Little S-turn to help us out because we were high. But look at that. 1,000 feet. We're stable. Slightly right of center line, correcting. Man, our ref speed is low. I'd like to bump this up a few knots if I could. I don't know if I can do it in time. Let's do 130. So, just from history, unstable approaches tend to lead to unstable landings or not your best landings, so I would consider this approach borderline unstable. But we're well within the limits, but let's see how we touch down here. I'm sure glad I spent the money on the Wuhan scenery. You can't even see anything here.
500.
Manual everything. Give me all the things.
400.
Alright, we're looking good now. A little bit of the left to center line. Okay, so I gotta try to land further right than feels comfortable if I want to be on center line. Let's see if that helps my center
200.
line.
Minimum.
Insight landing. Gear is down, correct? Yes.
100. 50. 40. 30, 20, retard, 5.
Firm? That felt pretty good. Spoilers. Reverse green. Maximum Carda reversers. 70 knots. Pampers box all over the place. Clear into the left. 219, really? Look at that. 0 feet from center line. 51 feet above. So, hey, we did all right. I can't believe that said 219. Really? Oh, really? Here is Wuhan, China. A place I never thought I would be. But we can't do an Asia Pacific tour and not stop in Wuhan. I can see why the scenery is not that great. We're missing taxiway lines. So let's go ahead and stop here. We'll clean it up. Actually, I know where we're going. We're going to go left up here. We'll go ahead and do this. Clean you up. Debut primed up. Disarm the spoy brakes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The other one said 101, Christian? Alright. I can believe a 101. 212? I mean, come on. I know I've had some hard landings. I did not think that was a 200 plus. Max range was going to say next it's going to be the seat height. Already sandbagging for the landing. Hey, that's a real pilot for you, man. I wouldn't say real pilot. That is a true pilot, because I mean, if you watch some streamers, you'll be like, oh well, I was doing this, I was doing that. Like They've got it. They're in that mentality, the same mentality as the real world guys. If you're not sandbagging for your landing, you're not really flying an airplane. You said we were going to 357, which was at the tip of the pier here, so I'm all over the place. I was going to go in and had an angle, but we got to probably get yelled at. I know in Canada, they actually can fine you if you're not on center line. Alright, 357, there's 356, so the next right. Let's go yellow electric pump on. And let's go ahead and kill engine 2. And here we go, into the gate. Love that spool down. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to try this center line. So I'm completely centered, right? My view is centered. So coming into the gate, I should be, I would think right about here would be center line. Let me see what it is outside. It's pretty darn good. But yeah. I don't know. Just gotta have excuses. Let's park it this way. Brake set. APU is available. Engine 2 is coming down. No, Max, the landing rate's not measured in real world. You can pull it up. There's a way to pull. I keep forgetting. I'm going to have to find out how to pull it up again. There's a way to pull up your actual feet per minute on touchdown. The only time it will automatically print is when we get what's called a load 15 report, and that means you've exceeded the tolerances and it's a hard landing. And you actually have to call maintenance to the airplane. It's really embarrassing. I've only had to do it. Personally, I've done it one time on the Airbus. As in a 321. In a DFW, and I'll probably save that story for the podcast. But yeah, one time I ever did a load 15, not good. Not good. But you fly long enough, eventually it's going to get you. Alright, let's do a replay here. Let's go ahead and throw you guys into replay mode. I'm going to go into replay mode here. Let's back it up. So this was us doing S-turns on final because we were high. Come all the way back. Just want to have a little replay music since there's no replay sounds in the Flight Factor. Here she comes. Let's take a look at this here. Play. So we were stable over the threshold, no doubt. 50 feet right on the money, 51 feet I think it said. And technically we touched down 0 feet from center line. Let's see how that did. Oh, that did look like a 226, really? I guess we were pretty much on center line. Well, that's not bad. I still feel a little bit more right there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I should be a little bit more to the left. I don't know. Anyway, it looks pretty good. Let's look at these engines. Check this out. Check out these reverser animations, y'all. This is freaking awesome. Touchdown. Boom. What I want to do is I want to pause it right here. I want to zoom in. How do I do this? I want to come around. I did this one time and when I was testing Carda's engines, it just looks so sweet. All right, here we go. Watch this. Ever seen this view on touchdown before? That's pretty good. Here we go. Watch the flower petal reversers, redeflecting the air. You can actually see how they work now. You know, it's the actual door of the reverser, or of the engine cowling, I guess. It's the actual door that's deflecting the air, whereas in the IE version, you have attenuators. This is just the actual door itself pulling back and commencing the reverse thrust. That's a pretty cool shot. Let's do it from this view. I mean, this is study level engines right here. This is kind of cool. I've never looked at this view on touchdown. Idle. Doors open. That is so cool. All right, let's watch this touchdown. Let's analyze this touchdown. We'll start wrapping it up here. I thought that was a pretty good touchdown. Carda, I can't wait for these engines to drop more. I love them on the Flight Factor, but I personally cannot wait for the 321 Frontier with the chevrons and the 319 with the A model. There's some differences on the A model that have a little bit of, they have a little more of a different vent, a different spinner. Just looks absolutely awesome. Carda has his channel in the V1 Discord. The link's in the description if you want to check it out. He posts his updates in there. I love his engines. Carda, again, huge thank you to you and the work that you do enhancing our simulation experiences here on X-Plane. Truly do enjoy the mods that you make, man. They're really awesome. As far as the stream, thank you all for tuning in. My mods, sponsors, thank you once again for joining the stream this evening. This afternoon, I should say, really. All the donations, new members, new subscribers, welcome. Thank you very much. Until next time, y'all, I hope you stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. Be looking to see me again here maybe on Friday. Until then, I'm V1. See ya!